Welcome to my small home studio. I'm Gavin Hoey and this is the M.Zuiko 20mm F1.4 lens from Olympus or OM System. Now this is a brand new lens that's being launched on a live stream from here in a few hours time, but for you that's already happened. The Olympus staff aren't actually here yet, but the lens is, so I thought it'd be really fun to take this 20mm f1.4 lens out for a bit of a spin and see what it's all about. If you're new to the Micro Four Thirds system, 20mm sounds like it should be quite a wide angle lens, but in fact it's the equivalent of a 40mm lens on a full frame 35mm system. One thing that doesn't change when it comes to exposure is the aperture. So f1.4 on this lens means that it is really fast, and that makes it an excellent lens for shooting in low light. Olympus already has a great range of prime lenses. You'll find a 17mm and a 25mm in there in both the f1.2 versions and an f1.8 version. So this new 20mm lens sits pretty much in the middle of the focal range, and at f1.4 fairly in the middle of the aperture range as well. In the box is a wrapping cloth to keep the lens clean and tidy, and a lens hood, which is always welcome. The lens itself is pretty straightforward. There's no function button or manual focus clutch here, but you will notice on the lens it now says OM System, and it says the same thing on the lens cap and the body cap, which is the first lens to have that branding. Before I've got the lens, I've read the spec sheets, but they don't do it justice because this is a small light lens. It's around about 2.5 inches, 60mm high, and about 8.7, 250 grams in that area for weight. It fits between the much larger 1.2 lenses and the much smaller 1.8 lenses, and it just feels around about the right size for an Olympus camera. The 20mm f1.4 is from the Pro range of lenses, which means it's IPX1 rated. So that means it's dust-proof, freeze-proof to -10 degrees centigrade, and splash-proof. Now I haven't tested those out because, well, this is a brand new lens and Olympus want it back for their live stream in a few hours' time, looking as good as new, I guess. At the front of the lens, it's a 58mm thread, and the front element is hydrophobic coated. Great if you're going to be out in the extremes of weather. Inside this lens is a 9-bladed aperture, which means that wide open f1.4, this lens has really soft, smooth bokeh, and Olympus likes to call it feathered bokeh. And I think that's a great name because it really does look lovely. Like most Micro Four Thirds lenses, it really can focus very close. 25 centimeters from the sensor, or roughly 10 inches, means that I could get really close with this lens and get some lovely close-up details. Olympus have made quite a big thing about this lens being fairly close to the field of view that a human eye has. Now, at 57 degrees, this 20mm lens certainly ticks that box, and from my personal experience, just using it, walking around and testing it out, yeah, it does feel pretty much the same as what you see. It gives a very realistic field of view. So who's this lens for? Well, I can see it being used by quite a wide range of photographers. Street photographers are going to love the real-world field of view and its discreet size. Travel photographers are going to love the lightweight, and portrait photographers, it's an f1.4, great for low-light photography. If you shoot video, it's a great video lens as well. There's a whole range of people who are going to really enjoy this lens, and I think it's a great addition to the OM System Olympus lineup. If you want to find out more about this lens or any lens in the Olympus lineup, click on the link below. That'll take you to Adorama's website, and there is a ton more information there. Now for me, I've got to set this room up for live streaming. So I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.